Well, to help break all this down and a whole lot more, let's welcome an adjunct professor at Montclair State University, Dan Geltrude. Dan, good morning. Okay, back to Beijing. Now, we know their president, Xi Jinping, has been trying to draw in foreign investment, hosting several U.S. companies in a meeting to convince them to invest in his country. China is also struggling with real estate, actually, as property investment shrunk by over 9%. Dan, where does the CCP go from here?
Well, to begin with, I don't believe, because it's not reliable, that they actually had 5.3% growth. You can't rely on anything that comes out of China because it's all propaganda. But if you look at where they're growing, and let's assume some of this is at least true. You know where it is, Alex? It's with EVs, solar, and batteries. And guess what the U.S. is trying to buy more of? Those three things. So it puts the United States in a position to be more reliant upon China, which is what a lot of people are saying is a very difficult position to put ourselves in.
Yeah, but you started with a fantastic point. You really can't trust anything coming out of China, but I do want to stick in the Pacific for a second. So South Korean phone manufacturer Samsung has dethroned Apple as the world's top phone seller. Apple's downfall comes as the tech company struggles to sell their phone in China. So the company further saw its biggest decrease iPhone shipments since COVID led to supply chain issues. Dan, first, what can Apple do to maybe ripen itself a little bit more for the market? And secondly, is China's lessened demand kind of come a bit as retaliation for the U.S. government's crackdown on Chinese-led apps?
Well, the second part first, yes, I think that we have a war going on right now with China. It's an economic war, so they're trying to do everything that they possibly can to hurt our economic power around the world. So we can't expect that that's not the case. And then as far as what's happening with iPhone, if you have an iPhone, listen, there hasn't been a lot of advancements. It's the same thing over and over, maybe with a more powerful camera. So they really need to make more advancements, in my opinion, to get back on top.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the same brick phone that comes out every single time. It looks exactly the same. I know I think Samsung and Google, they're all coming up with like flip phones and kind of more innovative type phones. So they certainly need to step it up a little bit. Target now facing class action lawsuit from an Illinois woman. Okay, so she's actually accusing the retailer of storing biometric data about customers without their consent. Now, the woman accusing Target of storing face scans and even fingerprints as anti-theft measures and violation of the state law. Dan, where do you think this lawsuit goes? And do you think other retailers are conducting very similar practices?
Alex, this actually isn't something new. Google and Amazon have actually faced similar suits in terms of storing this biometric information. So this is probably just the beginning, because as technology advances further and further, and you have a lot of retailers out there that are using these super advanced cameras that pick up all kinds of information, I mean, able to see your retina, it really becomes, is this an invasion of privacy? So I think we're going to see a lot more litigation on this, Alex.
Yeah, and kind of separately, something I didn't like when I was at the airport. Now they take a photo of you before you go into security. I don't like that either. Okay, so finally, the Trump Media and Technology Group announcing it will start a streaming service meant for films, news, and other content establishment media just refuses to show. The company plans on releasing the service actually in phases. The move, of course, coming after the company's stock has been up and down in the stock market. What do you make of this move, Dan?
Well, it's probably a good one. Listen, the problem with this company is that, in my opinion, they're really tied to the election result. Now, if Trump were to win, this company may really have a chance. It's been a roller coaster. Right now, it's down 70% in value. So they need to have something more than building the entire format around Donald Trump and Truth Social. So to be a more diverse company is a good thing, in my opinion, but we'll have to see where this goes, Alex.
Exactly. Wait and see game. Dan Geltrude, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.